That's not great, but not bad as you're standing here. A lot of impressions, first impressions made while you're waiting for the door to open. They just repainted that. It couldn't have been an uglier olive green. That's what you're looking at. And I think the dollars per square foot's about right for what people are expecting these days. If you're over 3,000 feet and in the mid sevens, you should have a pretty good chance of selling, because there's so many others, like the one we saw in La Costa Valley, that are the same size looking for 8 something. Once you get down to this level, you look pretty competitive. But what happens when this isn't selling? Is it just price? Or is there something wrong with this house? I always thought that these tiles, a half a bath there, were a nice look, but they're dated now. They have the little edge to them. But that was kind of trendy and fatty. That fad's over. People want travertine, a more upscale look. Then you got no granite. You got the original appliances. And people just start thinking dated. Standard cabinetry. And even though it's well kept, clean, freshly painted, new carpet, might as well be a fixer if you're the kind of buyer that wants it fancier than this, and you gotta tear all this out. Maybe you have a big yard, maybe that'll help compensate. I'll give them this, it's nice and quiet back here. It's private too. You got a little influence, I think, for these trees. Have grown up nicely, so you don't see it much, and it's pretty far away. I don't think that's much impact. You're going to lose a few buyers from that. But you don't really feel like people are looking in on you, and that's going to be all open space back there forever. At least they got those windows covered. And it's pretty quiet. El Camino Real is pretty close. This is remarkably quiet given how close you are to that. But I think this is big enough that it's a positive. Let's check upstairs. Doesn't take long to figure it out. I think people appreciate a big master size-wise, but it's not needed. You don't need that to sell. You're just packing the square footage in. Oh, here you got the same. Well, it's not exactly the same tile. It's only 12 inch. And whoops, everything else. It's just a basic look all the way around, just like downstairs. Oh, man. And people come in here and say it's just too plain. I want fancy. They're willing to pay more for fancy, just for the convenience. You and I know it'd take definitely less than 10 grand to do this whole shower with a nice frameless 3/8 inch door, travertine shower. Maybe 15 tops if you included the tub and some granite counters. But you can just do travertine and travertine floor. I'd say 15 grand, boom. But how many people are just going to pass altogether because they don't have a realtor that can educate them on that and give them quotes and bring their people over and get it done the first week of ownership? No, let's just pass on this one. I don't like the basic look. I'm out. What I do these days is carry these around with me. I'm pretty sure this is active. but I printed this listing from a couple of weeks ago. Put market time on there. She was over here doing open house over the weekend, so I think it's still for sale. But this is one that's due to sell, really, just because of the bang for the buck. But you know what, while I'm here, she might end up getting tagged because one of these right across the street was a flipper. That one, or that one, I think it was one of those two. Maybe that one. So that's a recent sale on the street, but that backs up to poinsettia over there. But buyers don't really care. If that was the sale, they're just going off the price and the square footage. And if you're across the street like this and don't back to anything but a big quiet zone like that, you don't really get a benefit. You have to price it pretty similar. Even has linoleum. You'd think a big laundry room like that would be a plus. It's a negative. Why? Because people come in here and say linoleum. Geez, that's so 1980s. Everyone's got their own bathroom. This would be a good one to gauge the market. I think if there's one that's going to sell this week, it might be this one. But if it doesn't, I think we've identified why. Is it going to be Ocean View right there? Maybe. I'm Jim the Realtor.